I've got this lovely road, but what good is a road unless you've got a house on the road that you can live in? It's absolutely useless. I want a nice modern house on this road, and I've got a really good idea. Why don't I just make one? Don't go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night, depending what time you're watching this next tutorial from me, Avomance, and today we're going to build what I think is probably so far my best modern house build. I've got this road and I really fancy sticking a nice modern house on it. Now I don't mean like the modern houses that I've got behind, which are equally awesome, and you can see the tutorials for those on my channel definitely, and I think there's probably a link to the playlist somewhere on the screen now if I've worked out how to do it properly. But I want to do a properly awesome one that is going to be sat right here. So why don't we just get on with it? But before we do, you know the drill. Hit that like button for me. I'd really like to see you smacking that like button all over the place so as I know you're enjoying the video. And also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It would be absolutely amazing to see you in my sub club, and hit the notifications bell as well. On the screen you can see now how to do that. It is so simple and you will never ever miss another one of my videos. In fact, do it to all of your favourite YouTubers. They will be grateful. Let's get on with this tutorial. I've been rabbiting on too much. You want to see a house? Let's do it now. You are going to need quite a lot of space. It is a big house, but it is awesome. We need a square that is 22 blocks by 22 blocks, and then we need a bit on the edge of it that is 22 blocks by 8 blocks. Now on the square 22 by 22, fill it all in with a nice light coloured wood. I recommend oak or birch. Don't go dark, it doesn't look quite so good, but fill it all in completely with oak or birch, a nice light coloured wood. And then the other side, make sure you complete that out with something light. Now you could do that with clay or you could do that with quartz. It's completely up to you, but make sure you're prepared and ready for the build, and don't move on. Pause the video until you are ready. So I've taken the first row of wood, all 22 of them I've converted and changed them into quartz. Now of course you could, with the new Minecraft 1.12 update, do this with concrete, and we are going to be using some concrete in this build, but I've used it with quartz simply because I prefer the quartz texture for the bit on the outside here, so I'm just continuing with it on the inside. And then with this being block number 1, we're going to count across 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and on that 8th block we're going to remove it and replace that with quartz, and then we're going to build a row of quartz all the way along, right the way along to the other end. So let's get that done. Now that row is done, we are going to draw right across the back here again with the quartz blocks, and we're going to go all the way along the back here as well with the same blocks. So let's get that done. And then with this block being number 1, we're going to come along 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And you can see we're starting to build a bit of structure, and then we join this up like that. So you should have an outline that looks a little bit similar to that right now. If you've got anything that looks completely wildly different, you've gone wrong somewhere and you need to correct it. So now you've got a choice. If you are working in Minecraft 1.12, you can do this with white concrete. That is what it looks like. So it's not quite white, it's like a little bit grey, but you can use that if you wish. I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with quartz because I like the fact that it's slightly whiter than the white concrete is. And we're going to build a wall, one high, along the side there like that. Then with this one being 1, we're going to count along 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. We're going to stick a block there. We're going to leave a gap of 2. We're going to stick a block there. We're going to leave another gap of 2, just like that, and then we're going to put a row all the way along like that. We're going to carry on putting that row all the way along the back as well, and we're going to follow it round the corner and put a row right to the end of that 8 too. So you're going to end up with a raised ridge coming all the way around that looks a little bit like that. Okay, and then on the corner here we're going to come up another 3. So 1 already, then 2, 3, making a total of 4. We're going to do the same on this block here, 2, 3, 4. Same on this block here, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to come on this block here, 2, 3, 4. Brilliant. Same on here, same on here. So you've got 3 wide there and then 1 more. Leave that gap for now, and then on this last one here we're going to come up 4. Do not put anything along here whatsoever, and should have the beginnings of what looks like, I don't know, a bit of a wall. And then across the top we're going to start to build some overstrut, some structure, so we know exactly what it is we're building. So it's going to come all the way along to the end of that, and then also all the way along here too, like that. So you can see how that has worked out really, really nicely. And then what we're going to do, where we've got this gap here, this gap of 2 here, next to it we're going to come across 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to put another block, okay, and then we're going to come up with that block 2, 3 and 4, and then behind it we're going to put a gap of 1, come there, and we're going to come up 2, 3 and 4, okay, and then we're going to follow this along until we get to the inside of this row, not that row but the inside of it, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to come across here, and exactly on this last back wall we're going to go 1, being that wall already, 2, 3 and 4. And then what you can see is we're starting to build what looks like a nice structure for this house to grow onto. The next really simple bit comes right over here, and we're going to raise up this back area. So we're going to come up with 1, 2, 3 steps, then we're going to come around the back, and with the same wood that you've got for the rest of the floor, we're going to build up this platform so as it is ever so slightly raised. So let's get that bit done. So there's a nice raised platform there, and then we're going to carry on using our block of quartz, and we're going to build another row along here like this, just like that. We're going to stick another one in there, and then we're going to get oak wood, and we're going to line oak wood all the way along inside there, just like that. That looks great. And then what we're going to do here is a little bit different. So we're going to get 1, keep grabbing that grey concrete now, 1 block of quartz, then we're going to leave 2 gap. We're going to do 2 blocks of quartz, we're going to leave 2 gap, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3 blocks of quartz. So you can see there, so we've got 1, then a 2 gap, then 2, then a 2 gap, then 2, and then it comes to the wall, and then we're going to come here 1 and 2 with a 2 gap, 1 and 2 with a 2 gap, and then 1. So we're building what's going to be a really nice patio area along that side there. So if you've not done that yet, pause the video and make sure that you've got that exactly right. So coming to the other side of the wooden area now, we're going to take from this corner here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the 6th one we're going to put a block, so there should be a gap of 5, and then we're going to run blocks all the way along like that. Then we're going to put a gap of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the 7th one, which should be in line with that wall there, we're going to put another block, just like that, and then we're going to come a gap of 2, another block, and then block all the way along, and also block along the back, just like that. And then on this corner here we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, and here we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, same on there, same on there, but we're not doing it anywhere else. But what we are going to do is we're going to come out on the 2 and just leave this 1 gap, not a 2 gap, a 1 gap, and that's going to come along all the way to the end. So you can see we're at the end there. We're not going to join that corner, we're going to leave that open, and then we're going to join this all the way along until we hit that wall there. So we've got what looks like a bit of a slit all the way around. Up here we're going to come along, fix that to the top. We're going to do exactly the same here, and we're going to do exactly the same there as well, and also here. So you can see we're getting the frame of the downstairs area really beautifully now on that main house part. Now there's a number of ways you can do the next bit, but I like to start to build a little bit more detail and structure into the house, because what it does then, it guides me what I'm going to do next. So what I'm going to come around here and I'm going to get some of the new black concrete that's come out in Minecraft 1.12. But you don't have to use concrete. If you're working anything under 1.12, you could use hardened clay, and don't have to use black even, you can use whatever colour you want. But we're going to kind of build an archway all the way along. So we've got kind of an arch like that, and then we're going to come over this side and we've got a similar hole here, and we're going to do exactly the same and build an arch out of black concrete just like that. And then we're going to start getting jiggy with glass, and we're going to use black stained glass to fill out the gaps, quite a lot of the gaps in fact. So all of that gap there becomes black stained glass, all of this gap becomes black stained glass, all of this all the way around right to the end, and wrapping it all the way around the corner becomes black stained glass. Come round through here, this entire 2x3 becomes black stained glass, and similarly this 2x4 becomes black stained glass too. So we've got a lot of black stained glass going in there at the moment, and it started to make the house look a little bit more substantial. And just to continue that theme, we're going to put some upside down stairs, quartz stairs in there, and we're going to walk through the door, and from the inside we're going to get some dark oak doors, and we're going to put in a double dark oak door right there, so you can see that looks absolutely fantastic. And then on the back side here we're going to do something very similar but not quite the same. We're going to get upside down quartz stairs there, but here we aren't going to use the dark oak door, we're going to use acacia doors. We're going to put a double acacia door right there, and that's coming out. So we've got a back door and we've got a front door, and we can differentiate which is the back and which is the front by whether or not it's dark oak or whether it is acacia, and I really like the way that looks. Now we're going to start to build a little more of the height on this particular build. So we're going to come across here, and on the third pane of glass from the front, so that's 1, 2, 3, you can see that pane of glass, we're going to come up and we're going to put a block on top of that wall right there. So it's very, very easy to identify where that's going to go, and we're going to make that 5 high. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we're going to come out 1. Now this may look a little bit weird, but we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason we do that is because with this build we're going to come out slightly and create a slight overhang with the upstairs on both sides of the building. It's going to look awesome. I hope it's going to look awesome anyway. And then we're going to come along the entire length of this build, and that gives us the overhang right to the end there, which is brilliant. And then we're going to come around this side, and because we've got 2 there, we can now start to think about where we're going to build across. And we want to come again 4 from the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to come all the way across to the other side of the building, which I think is there, and we're going to come down from that just like that. And then similarly, like on the other side, we're going to come up again, and we're going to continue along. So that is now 2 high. So that's a 5 high archway that spans the width of that building. And the back of this, same way as we have on the front, we're going to come all the way along. Now I appreciate it may look a little bit odd at the minute, but it's going to look great. Filling that right across the top, because we're not going out one at the back, just doing it at the sides. And you can see we're starting to bring a little bit more structure to the building. Then we're going to start to build some flooring on the inside of the outside. So this bit here becomes wood. So we've got kind of a nice porch area there. And then here we're going to start to create some kind of doorway type areas. So we want a gap of 3. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3. And then on this one here, we're going to look up, and that's that. And that's going to come down to there, which leaves us a gap of 2, which is exactly what we want. Then underneath this, we're going to come right across with another row of wood, so it's not just hanging in the air, because that would look really, really strange. So on this bit here, the bit that's jutting out, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3. So that third one, they're all kind of open. And on the fourth one, we're going to get quartz, and we're going to run it the entire length again of the building. Connect it up there. I'm going to do exactly the same across the back. So you can see the second floor now is starting to take shape as well, and it looks really, really great. I'm really happy with it. Now we're going to have a huge open space in this wall here, so we're going to come level with this beam that we've made here. We're going to come to the wall that's sticking out, and we're going to come up 1, 2, 3. That joins that up really, really nicely. We're then going to leave a gap of just 2. We're going to come up 1, 2, 3, and that should be kind of one offset from that column there, which gives us a hole of 4, and we're going to fill in that last one so it stays as a hole of 3. So you can see we've got 3, 2, and then a much, much larger gap there. And in that large gap, we're going to start to play again with some grey concrete, because I think the grey concrete really works. And we're going to do a similar arch to that which we did on the ground floor, all the way along and down, and then we're going to get that black stained glass again, and we're going to fill in the whole of that, both height right along, so as we've got a big window area there. And in this one we're just going to fill it with the black stained glass. We're not going to use any black concrete or black hardened clay if you've not got the concrete. We're just going to leave it exactly like that, and I think it looks brilliant. We then need to up each of these columns by just 1, like that, and then get some quartz slab, and we're going to join up the quartz slab on the top of the topmost block. You can see this bit is overhanging and I'm meant to fill that in, so let's go up 1, 2, 3, just like that. Get your quartz slab again. We're going to come across with a quartz slab, so we can see we've got kind of a slightly L-shaped area made up of quartz slab, and then all we've got to do is fill that in. That looks absolutely brilliant, and then you've probably guessed we're going to get some black stained glass, and we're going to run all the way along the outside, including that L shape of this upper area, because this upper area is the sun terrace, and you don't want to be falling off the end of a sun terrace, because not only can you hurt yourself, but you could fall on innocent passers-by, and that's just not fair. So we've got a really nicely laid out sun terrace right there. We're going to come up the top here. We're going to stick in 2 upside down stairs. We're going to come inside like this, and we're going to get that acacia door again, and we're going to put in a set of 2 acacia doors just like that. So we've got a really lovely entrance to our sun terrace. We're going to do a little bit of work on the inside now. So we're going to fill in this floor, and it's we're going to fill it in as a 6x4, so that's 6 across. And here we're going to get across 4, and then we're going to get oak wood stairs going up. So that is kind of the entrance to that platform, and we're going to get our black stained glass, and because it works as such a good kind of separating barrier, we're going to have it open plan, but the black stained glass is going to create a very obvious kind of sectioning of that particular area. We're then going to get our block of quartz again, and we're going to go level with this part here, which is 9. So on the other side we're going to mirror that. We're going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So on that block we're going to join the top and the bottom, leave that lovely kind of big area in there, this really gorgeous big area there, which is brilliant. And then we're going to get our oak wood slabs, and we're going to come out a little bit using oak wood slabs here. And then on this side we're just going to come out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, level with that pillar, and we're going to end up continuing that in a moment. But for now what we're going to do is get some black stained glass, and that black stained glass is going to start to edge around this kind of walkway. So this is going to be a bit of a mezzanine level, if you like, that is going to give a nice open view upstairs to people that might be coming in the front door. Now you might think, Avo, you've left these funny white ledges open. I know these funny white ledges are open, and we're going to do something with them in just a minute. But before we do, we've got to start to make this area safe. This is an outer area. We don't want people breaking their necks. That would just be awful. Then we're going to fill in this entire gap. This area here gets upside down quartz steps. is an acacia door that goes out onto that mezzanine level like that. Now I've realised I've come out one too far with this little area here, so we're going to get rid of that and we're going to stick a quartz block on it, and then we're going to run a quartz all the way along from there. Underneath this is going to get removed there, just that one, none of the others, under there, creating a nice quartz pillar in the middle of the room. And then this is coming up to the level of the ceiling. This also comes up to the level of the ceiling, creating a more realistic structure, I guess, for the kind of building that we've got. We're going to build up this element here, and what that's going to give us is a kind of a two wide open doorway. We're not actually going to put a door in it, but it's a two wide open doorway that we can use to access this second half of the system. Then in here we're going to use a little bit more black stained glass, just one high, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to be making it so as it's a window. We want to keep it nice and open. That's what we're after. And then we're going to get some quartz stairs, and these quartz stairs are going to act as access to that area, because we're going to continue with these wooden slabs, and these wooden slabs now are going to come across to the bottom of those steps, and yet you'll be able to see them on the other side, but it's okay because we're going to do something with them. And that's just fill in the entirety of the floor, and we're going to dig out a few of them in a minute to create some steps. So there we've got the entire floor sorted out, just ready to create an entrance from the bottom to the top, which we're going to do now. So for our steps, we're going to come in 1, 2, and then stick a double stair like that. We're going to stick that upside down, and we're going to create a fairly classic staircase going backwards and forwards, exactly as you've seen me do, probably about a gazillion times. So that's going to come up like that. That then hits the side of the wall, so as we're now on the right height, we fill in that bit there, and we then fill in that bit there. That's absolutely superb. We're very happy with that. So we've got our access from top to bottom very, very simply. And now we know exactly where this wall can go. So we've got to fill in the wall so as the stairs don't get, aren't seen through a window. So we're going to put a wall like that. But we've got this nice area here that we can fill in with some black stained glass just to make a little bit of a window, so that isn't such a huge wall at the back there. And then again here, we can actually make this entire window a window, which is great because underneath that we can do something else. And there we have it. It's a little bit enclosed, but that's all right because we're going to do some fairly interesting stuff in here in just a moment. Time to build out some of these gaps now, and like we have in a few of the other builds, we are going to put the black concrete, again you can use the black hardened clay or some other hardened clay if you prefer, on the back here just to give it a little bit more of a different look. And then here we're not going to do such a huge window, I don't think, so we're going to do it ever so slightly different and break it up, because I think we've just got a little bit too much if we start opening it up all of this way. So what we're going to do, keep that as a large wall, which we'll do something with when we fill out the inside of the house. I'm actually going to do some interior on this, which is unheard of for me. We don't normally do interiors, but today we are. And there we have, we've got a nice open area there. And then we're going to come along, so we've got all of this white edge, and I know you said, Avo, what are we doing with this white edge? Well, I'm going to tell you now what we're going to do with it. We're going to use some step. And I actually think that works really well as an edge into this area. And we've got this huge window here. What do we want to do with it? Well, it doesn't take a very wise man to work out that we're going to do a little bit of black edging with the black concrete, followed by some black stained glass to create a huge big window again, which just looks awesome. We're nearly there. We're so close, people. Stick with me. So we're now going to build what is going to be a garage, and I have to confess this isn't part of the original footprint that we first spoke about, and this is entirely optional. So if you don't want to do this, don't do it. Very, very simple. Don't do it. So we're going to come out here, and we're going to come out, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so just 5, and we're going to come all the way along 4 high. So we've got a wall that is 4 high, just like that, if we look at the wall here, we need to come 1, 2, 3 along the wall, and then we're going to build another wall that is level with that part there, and that is going to come out 4. And then we need to build a last row that is coming this way by the same number that we've come out before. So you can see there we're level, so that's come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 for the back wall. So just continue that all the way up, and this has got to basically be a 3-sided box. It looks a little bit dull right now, and that's because it is, but that's all right. We don't mind it being a little bit dull because it's going to be awesome by the time it is finished. And then in the bottom, we're literally just going to fill in the entire floor like that. Now this is the clever bit. We're going to come around the back in through under this stair, and we're going to open that up. And we missed it by 1, so that's all right. So we're going to come back 1 more because we missed it by 1. I miscounted. This happens even with professionals, which I'm clearly not. And we've got our access to the garage from the back like that, and we're going to come back and do something else with that in just a moment. We're not ready to finish it yet. It's going to look great, I promise you. Now it just looks like a bit of a box, but that's all right too. Then what we're going to do on each corner here, we're going to stick another thing, and then we're going to do some counting, because I know you love to do counting with Avo. And we're going to have a gap of 2 and then a thing, then a gap of 1 and then a thing, which should leave you a gap of 2. We're going to get some glass, go 1, 2, leave a gap, 1, 2. And then this entire row here is glass block. I'm just using normal glass block. If you'd like to use a coloured glass block or a stained glass block or whatever description, you go for your life. I bet it would look absolutely fantastic. And then on top of the whole lot, we're going to put quartz slabs. So you can see we are nearly there. We're starting to do this garden. The garden is going to look fabulous. This area is going to look fabulous as well, and we'll come back and do that in just a minute. So let's crack on with this garden. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some gravel, and we're going to replace that bit there with a bit of gravel, and we're going to draw a straight line of gravel all the way down. Now this is a modern house. This is going to be a relatively formal looking garden. It's not going to be haphazard like some rustic builds would be. It's going to be formal and straight lines and all those kinds of things that modern gardens often have. And I've managed to just completely knock out one of those doors because I was talking at the same time as building, which I should know better about. Stick that there we go, and we're back there. So we've got a nice garden there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dig out all of this grass, and I'll be back when I've done it. So there we have it, a completely dug out front garden, and we're going to start to make very regimented rows of grass. Now you know how grass looks in nice posh gardens. It's all mowed in straight lines, a bit like it is on a football pitch or something like that. So we're going to create nice straight lines using this terracotta, as it is now called in Minecraft 1.12. You want to call it clay, you call it clay. I'm very happy for you to do that. Then we're going to carry on. I've done that wrong, haven't I? I need to make sure that that is like that, otherwise it ain't going to work. There we go. Then that carries on there. Then we're going to get the darker clay and we're going to fill in the gaps. Let's do that. There we have an extremely regimented lawn. We're going to do a little bit more to it in just a minute, but right now that looks great. Really, really well pruned. What's next? We're going to come up and have a bit of a pop at this roof now. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to line all the way around the top here with some slabs. I don't want it to come up a full block, you see. A full block would be far too high. So we're going to come around, edge it with a load of slabs, and then we're going to just make it a little bit more interesting in just a moment. So let's get that done. There you go. And then we're going to come out one row all the way around with some more slabs. So let's do that. That's perfect. Then we get in, where is it? It's a block of quartz. And we're going to come around, we're going to fill in this area here with full blocks of quartz. And the effect that gives us is it kind of adds a 1/2 slab higher for the rest of the roof, which I really, really like. So let's get that around. And we're going to leave just the smallest gap in the middle. You'll see what I mean when I'm done. So you can see there we've left a 2x2 hole exactly like that. And on this side, we're going to do something similar, but we're going to leave a much bigger hole. So we're going to come across this way again. And it looks like that. So we've got just a single ridge all the way around. We need more grey stained glass here, but we're not going to use panes. We're going to use grey stained glass blocks, and we're going to create a grey stained glass skylight in the 2 gaps on either side of this roof. So this side has obviously got a much bigger one, and the other side has got a little one. So let's just fill that all in. And that gives us a great effect on both sides. And if we come inside the house, you can see here what it looks like from the underside. So we've got light coming in from the top there, but not loads. And then here, it's amazingly lit. I really like that effect. It looks brilliant. And I think for a modern house, it is a really good way to get some light into the house. We are going to need to put a little bit more in, of course, but that's a good way to do it right now. And now we're going to do a little bit more work on this patio area. Not a lot, just a little bit. And we're going to get some steps, and we're creating some seating around the edge of this patio area, which is lovely because it means you've got loads of places to sit. Look, they could have loads of people sat there. And then in here, we've got a big, massive square, and we're going to try and make something a little bit more interesting in this square. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to take this all out here. And I appreciate you've just laid it down a little while ago, but I'm taking it out now. Don't know what to tell you. We're just taking it out. And then we're going to go down another one. And then another one. So I'll get that done. Then all the way around the outer edge underneath the wood, we're taking out these 2 rows. And it looks a little bit like that. And then we're going to coat around the bottom with some quartz. This bottom row here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on both sides, and then the other 2 as well. And you can see here we've got a 6 by 6 square. Now you can create whatever pattern you want on this 6 by 6 square. The idea is to create a pattern of light, and I don't care how you do it. I'm just going to make a relatively consistent pattern coming across all the way here like that. So I've got a couple of diagonals, which leaves me with some spaces look like T's, I guess. I'm going to fill in the top bits of the T's like that. And that one. So that's quite a nice pattern. And then we're going to get here, you can see we're going to get some steps. And on the edge of the steps here, we're just going to put, can't drive. We're going to stick a set of steps there. And then upside down, we're going to sit steps there. And then we're going to get a slab. And we're going to put a slab like that. And you can imagine what that's going to be, and I shall show you in just a minute. Now when I do swimming pools, personally I like to use sea lanterns. It's water, for goodness sake, it's water, so you need sea lanterns rather than glowstone. But if you want to use glowstone, you are more than welcome to do so. And I'm going to fill all the gaps up with these sea lanterns. Everywhere there's a gap, it's going to get a sea lantern. So the whole of the inner row underneath this wood gets a sea lantern, and that's going to make for a bit of a glowing feel around the swimming pool, which I really like a lot through that wood. And then we're going to fill in the pattern on the bottom of the pool as well, which makes for, I don't know, not just a load of light, but it makes for a really nice pattern on the floor as well. Can you see that? That's absolutely brilliant. And then we just got to fill it with water. This house is starting to look really awesome, but we need to give it a little bit of green. It's a little bit too, I don't know, white and woody. So we're going to put some green in it just to make it look a little bit more natural as well. Call it landscaping if you will. So we're going to put a green row all along there. And then we're also going to put green on the outer row all the way along the back of these chairs. And now you could extend this as far as you want. For me personally, I like it one beyond the edge of that particular seat. And then we're going to go all the way around the back as well. So let's do that. That looks fab, but we're going to do just a little bit more greenery on this side, because this is, again, it's a little bit too uniform. So I'm going to get a block of wood there and a block of wood there. Then we're going to get our leaves and we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing more complicated than that. I think that looks absolutely fabulous. And then again, right there, 1, 2. So we've got a really nice looking kind of landscapey come bushy type thing that sits around there. And then we're going to try and match that up just a little bit round here by putting some bushes in exactly the same type of format onto our lawn up at the side of this garage. So I'm just going to do 1, 2 there to give a bit of a backing. and it gives us, just when you look along the length of that, you've got what looks like a nice scene at the back that involves some bushes. And then on this side, you can see either side of the door, we can do exactly the same thing. And finally, 1, 2. So if we back away and look at that garden now, it actually makes a huge difference, just those little bushes, to the entire build. Very, very pleasing. Time to build up this garage. So we want to come inside the house through this door, not outside, and we're going to get our acacia door and pop it there. We want that flush with that wall, which is why we've come inside the house. So, and then come back outside and you've got a little indent, and that's fine because that's how garages should work. And then here, we can just take out 1, 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to stick in some light. I'm using sea lanterns, completely up to you. I really don't care, but for me, I quite like the way sea lanterns work. Then we're going to get some quartz pillar block, and we're going to go acrossways, like, whoops, like that, 3 high, like that. So that kind of gives us, whoop, that one's wrong. That kind of gives us an across-way effect, and I like it. Do you like that? I like the way that looks. And then we're going to get some buttons. And the way you do the buttons is entirely up to you again. But I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I just think it makes for a really, really nice effect. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take out these 4 here, because I've decided I much prefer if we put some stairs in here. This is going to become what's effectively a slope that the car is going to drive up onto. So it's got to look right. And to accompany that, because stairs are far too sharp, we're going to put just a single row there of slabs, and I think that looks awesome. And on here, let's get that like that, and it just creates a bit of a step up onto that garage area. Now we've got to put a roof on it, haven't we? Otherwise it's going to be completely open air and no one's going to be able to keep the car dry when it rains, because it inevitably rains wherever you put these things. So let's come all the way across like that. We're going to put a single row of half slabs around the entire outside, and then we're going to come across the top of the door like that, and we're just going to fill it in exactly like that. Now you might have noticed, as I did, inside here it is a little bit out of kilter. We've got 2 lights there, 2 lights there. I'm going to do 2 more lights there just to make it look more uniform. I think that's better, more uniform. And then we'll just fill that in like that. And then if you wanted to, and I'd get it if you did, you might want to just make that part of that roof a little bit higher, should you wish. For me, I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it level there. But what I am going to do is I'm going to come out at the sides all the way around to give it a little bit of an overhang, because I was just a little bit worried that it was too square and too blocky. So we're just going to create a little bit of an overhang like that, and I actually think that looks okay for a garage. Garages don't have to have slopey roofs or dents along them, and if it starts to come up to the level of that window, for me it just looks a little bit strange. So that is the garage done, and let's just put a drive in, and all we're going to do is we're going to take out a load of these grasses, and we're going to come around and put a drive that comes all the way up to the road. So I'll come back when I've done that. And we have done the drive, and not only that, we've done a load of other stuff as well. So I'm going to give you a quick tour. So there's the drive, and it goes all the way to the road. I've trimmed it off. I hope they're a good driver to get round that corner at the end. I've got to be honest, that's a bit of a tight corner for any car. But I think that looks awesome in terms of matching up, and we've trimmed it up and brought it to meet the road. And then on this side, we've done a very similar thing. We've trimmed up and got ourselves some tables. We've got a really awesome dining area under this veranda here, and that looks great with some lighting, and we've done that using a sea lantern, some trapdoors, and a couple of fences, which looks really good. And up here we've got 3 sun loungers. Of course we've got sun loungers, it's a sun veranda, and we've got a lovely kind of cover and shaded bit here that we've made with some fences and some carpet. It looks pretty good. And then inside we've done even more. We're going to come in. First off, we're going to come into our kitchen. We've got light in there that's, again, made with some trapdoors and a sea lantern. We've got a cooker with some heat-resistant pads either side of it. We've got a sink with a tap, some workspace, which looks brilliant. We've got a dining area that we've done in exactly the same way as the other tables. It is just some fence posts and some carpet. And then we've got some dark oakwood steps there, making really great seating. Some gorgeous pictures all over the place. And then upstairs we have got our bed, and we used blue beds because we can use lots of different colour beds now. We're in Minecraft 1.12, which is awesome. Up here, you can see we've got a veranda. It looks great. And then coming this way, we've got some storage on the right-hand side. We've got pictures again. And out on here, we've got just a nice little sun terrace that we can look out on our world. And some other of the modern houses and other bits and pieces that I've done before. With a little bit of foliage as well. And I think this house has come out absolutely beautifully. I will be very interested to know what you think of this house. Please do leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this house. Let me know if you've done it even better. I'd be really interested to maybe have you tweet some pictures of this house that you may have done that look even better than mine, which is absolutely superb. What I'm now going to do is look at it in a couple of different texture packs. So this is in Equanimity, which is very similar really to the default resource pack. There's some very subtle changes, but I think it looks really quite nice in Equanimity. We've still got the lovely standard lawn there that looks really beautiful. The foliage looks good. I guess the quartz has got ever so slightly different texture on it, but what is mostly different is the wood. The wood's got that lovely planking feel, which I really like. Let's look at another one. So this one is Pure BD Craft, and again we've got a very different look and feel to the wood. The foliage is slightly different. We got, I don't know, a little bit of different look to the stone obviously, and the gravel looks a little bit different as well. But what's interesting here is that we've got texture on the grass, which we didn't have before, so that's quite good. And then inside it looks, again, oh look, we've got little bits of white along the edge of our glass there, which I quite like, I have to say. That looks quite nice. Inside it looks very similar. I like the way that the trapdoors look. It's a bit of a shame that they don't let the light through the sides. I think I preferred it the other way. And the water texture looks really nice. Let's get another one, just one more. And this is what is normally my favourite texture pack. This is Chroma Hills, but I have to confess, for this build, it just does not work. I don't like the way it's made this stained glass. It looks far too ornate. We want something far more simple. The other stuff looks pretty good. I don't like the way the grass looks. It looks like it needs a good water. So for me, Chroma Hills does not work with this build whatsoever, and maybe, just maybe, I've gone off it a little bit. Let's get back to default. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please do leave a comment down below and make sure you absolutely mash that like button. For me, this is the best modern house I've made yet. I will see if I can do some better ones. And if you enjoy the channel, maybe hit the subscribe button and you won't miss when I do another one, or something else for that matter, maybe a rustic build or a redstone tutorial or something else. I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.